Hello, everyone. I just got home and I'm checking my little Twitter poll. And as it turns out, 0% of you want to see me post videos about abandoned houses. Well, too fucking bad. For the whole rest of this fucking week, I'm going to post nothing but videos about fucking abandoned houses because I got so many of them. And I just love doing it. I love crawling around abandoned houses and filming it, putting it to YouTube for no one to watch. Alright? And it's my channel, so fuck you. But I will at least honor the voting because I had a couple ideas running around my head. I was like, what am I going to post today? And you guys wanted to see more than me talking about deceptive advertising or my first painting. You guys wanted to see me talk about The Amazing Atheist versus Harmful Opinions. Well, I was painting on my little zombie lawn gnome back there, right there. And I was listening to two videos. The first one was by The Amazing Atheist responding to Harmful Opinions and his videos about Candid and the people who shilled for Candid. And then I watched Harmful Opinions' response to The Amazing Atheist on that video. So I watched them back to back, and I side with Harmful Opinions on this one. And it's not just because I watched his video after The Amazing Atheist's video. While I was watching The Amazing Atheist's video is when I came to the conclusion that I am in the corner of Harmful Opinions. There were a few points in The Amazing Atheist video where he was bringing up a Twitter DM back and forth between Harmful Opinions and himself, and he was exaggerating a point where Harmful Opinions obviously wanted to know how widespread is the feeling that these larger YouTubers in this clique should not criticize each other. Right? This was a sticking point for him that The Amazing Atheist poked fun at, right? As well as him trying to paint Harmful Opinions as being some kind of a obsessed, pedantic freak, right? Where he was making a mountain out of a molehill. I believe that's the way TJ put it. And I've been there. I have fucking been there where I've been right, and the person that I'm criticizing is like, so what if you're right? It's just such a tiny little thing. Well, some of these things actually have to do with what it really means to be a skeptic, right? And they're not little points at all. I can remember the first time I got a message from someone in a comment saying, "Why are you criticizing Bionic Dance? She's a fellow atheist YouTuber. You know, we need to stick together." And I thought to myself, you know, if we have a disagreement, it's okay for us to disagree and for us to have it out. This is the skeptic community where we have discussions about things, you know. But this was back when there were plenty of high-hanging and low-hanging fruit in the theist category for atheists to be picking on all day. And that's what a lot of people wanted to see, was all day, every day, all sorts of spiritual believers being pwned to death. That's what they wanted to see. And the second you turned on one of your own because you had a disagreement with them, then, oh my goodness, you know, some people just couldn't handle that. And I think I rightly responded to that by saying, you know, why would I turn a blind eye to somebody who I feel is deserving of criticism? You know? How is that following in the footsteps of Pyrrho? But there have been other moments where I felt like what it means to be a skeptic or scholar or have journalistic integrity or all of these things were just belittled as if they were not very big points. And I think they are huge. And I know that Harmful Opinions thinks that these things are huge, right? I remember getting comments after like the sixth iteration of Jacqueline Glenn videos where she had been outed again for more plagiarism and more plagiarism and more plagiarism. And each instance to me was like, oh my goodness, here's another one. But there were some people who were like, man, quit beating a dead horse. We're already over it. You know, she's part of the skeptic community. She's a unique voice, and you shouldn't be criticizing her like this. It's doing damage to the community. And I'm like, no. Every instance of this is something interesting to me. You know, because plagiarism isn't something that we should be fostering in a community of skeptics and scholars here on YouTube. I remember Dark Matter 2525 leaving a message on my video saying that even if I was right in telling him that he should cite his sources, that he wasn't going to do it at this point because that would be like negotiating with terrorists. Well, I got news for you. When somebody points out that you're wrong, you're probably not going to like them. And painting someone as pedantic or terroristic or whatever autistic or what are some of the other slanders that you can hear nowadays? Well, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the way that you handle it, not how you perceive the other person's personality, right? You're not going to like anyone who's pointing out your flaws. And labeling them as any of those things is not how a skeptic should hold themselves. And so I lost a lot of respect for him in that moment. What this fight between Harmful Opinions and The Amazing Atheist reminded me of the most, though, was an interaction that I had with Thunderfoot. Now, way back in the day, Thunderfoot made a video, and it was about a house divided, right? And a lot of us took issue with this. And after making this a house divided video, he went on the Thinking Atheist podcast, and he talked about this concept again, that we needed to stop the infighting in the atheist community and quit criticizing each other and present a united front against basically anti-science creationism and whatnot. And so I disagreed with him. I felt like the atheist community, the skeptic community on YouTube should be like a Shark Tank, whereby anyone who is wrong smells of blood, and all the rest of the sharks just eat them alive. And that's how we should conduct ourselves. At any moment that somebody is wrong, we all pounce on them. One big fucking mosh pit. And none of this collectivism, no cliques, because all of these cliques in a group of skeptics, they are doomed. They are as doomed as the Tower of Babel. Okay? Think about what's happened to our community over the past few years when social justice and feminism split the atheist community in fucking two. And friendships were lost. Blood was drawn on both sides. The whole community decimated, you know, and pretty much quiverful fucking fundamentalist Christians now run our fucking government in America. Because we weren't looking. You know, we weren't looking at what we really needed to be fighting, right? But I was never a proponent that we should be looking together. Each individually, we should have been looking for whatever was worst, and we probably would have found it individually. And we would have swarmed on it, and then we would have gone on to the next wrong thing. And if it was ourselves or something else, we would have eaten it, you know. But in the collectivist mindset of free thought blogs, years after Thunderfoot had made that video, and I made my response video to it that got down thumbed by the Thunder drones of the time, because every large YouTuber has sycophants that they can't control that will down thumb their critics. Years after this, Thunderfoot found himself at odds with the free thought bloggers, in particular PZ Myers. And blood was drawn between both of them, and then Thunderfoot went on to attack the poison of feminism and social justice that had been infecting atheism, as he put it. And I made a comment on one of Thunderfoot's videos. I said, well, isn't it hypocritical to, on the one hand, say we need to have a house united because a house divided cannot stand, and then you go off and attack these other YouTubers, these other internet personalities, and they happen to be atheists as well? Isn't that a bit hypocritical? And he said no, because time had passed between those two ideals that he held. And his response to me, I respected it as being enough to prove to me that he was not a hypocrite. He changed his mind, because over time he saw that getting along just to stay together as a strong block, you know, and overlooking each other's flaws is not the way to go. We need to be critical of everything. You know, anything that comes across your eyes that you see that is wrong, you should have the balls to be able to say something about it. Right? And you shouldn't be worried about whether or not it's going to make you unpopular. Right? You shouldn't worry about the currency of being right on YouTube. Right? In the end, after the discussion, we will arrive at the truth. But you shouldn't be afraid to start the conversation in the first place thinking, oh no, what are other people going to think of me and how I'm rocking the boat in my own community? This is exactly what Harmful Opinions is seeing in The Amazing Atheist years later. There's this cliquish group that has agreed not to criticize one another and stick together. They all knew something wrong had happened, and none of them would talk about it because they didn't want to hurt each other. And just like the community was ripped apart by feminism and social justice and anti-social justice and shitlords, just like that, there will be a new issue that comes up, that after all of these pre-World War II treaties are drawn up between all these different large channels, once that issue comes up that they can't agree on, just getting along to get along, once that comes up, it will tear them apart again. The Tower of Babel effect will happen again. And TJ points his finger and laughs at Harmful Opinions, saying that he's pedantic, that he's making a mountain out of a molehill. I think Harmful Opinions just has his finger on the pulse, and he knows where this is going. He just learned from the lessons of history.